All right, people, we got to talk about this. This is an article from The Guardian. And, get rid of these freaking ads. Hate these stupid things. Um, the title is No Masks Allowed. Stores turn customers away in U.S. culture war by Poppy Noor. I'm going to tell you right now, Poppy Noor, this chick right here, is a libtard. Okay? Heads up. Shops around the world, shops around the US make headlines for denying entry to those wearing masks as protesters argue against preventative measures in the name of freedom. She's a leftist, remember that. Coronavirus live update, blah, blah, blah. This was on Friday, 22nd May 2020 at 14:35 EDT. In the last few weeks, a spate of American stores have made headlines after putting up signs telling customers who wear masks they will be denied entry. On Thursday, Vice, you can see where this is going already, reported on a Kentucky convenience store that put up a sign reading, "No face masks allowed in store. Lower your mask or go somewhere else. Stop listening to Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. He's a dumbass." Ha ha! Top kick. Another sign was posted by a California construction store earlier this month, encouraging hugs but not masks. In Illinois, a gas station employee who put up a similar sign has since defended herself, arguing that mask wearing made it hard to differentiate between adults and children when selling booze and cigarettes. Meanwhile, Donald Trump finally caved and wore a face mask yesterday, something he didn't want to give the press the pleasure of seeing. These people are sick. But while it's gratifying to see the emperor finally forced to wear clothes, yeah, because they like forcing people to do things that are stupid. You've got to wonder to what extent the virus, and it's not forcing the emperor to wear clothes. It's forcing the emperor to wear a diaper over his face. Get it straight, you stupid bitch. Poppy Noor. Okay. When will these stupid bitches learn? We don't give a shit about your guilt tripping or your virus or any of your bullshit. Okay? Clean up your fucking language. You should be deported for being a domestic terrorist and a power mad crackhead. But while it's gratifying to see the emperor finally forced to wear a face diaper, you've got to wonder to what extent the virus will spread thanks to the actions of citizens insisting on protecting their freedom over the rights of others not to get sick. Fucking stupid ass Noor. Anti-lockdown protesters have argued that it is anti-American for the government to curtail people's freedoms in order to reduce deaths as a result of COVID-19. Meanwhile, store owners tell customers what they can and cannot wear before entering, and customers cough in the faces of workers in the name of freedom. Yeah, store owners tell customers what they can and cannot wear. These people were always power mad. Now they have an excuse to show who they really are. Now they have an excuse to be power mad. To show people like me who not to give our money to. Right. Anti-lockdown protesters have argued that and customers cough in the faces of workers in the name of freedom. That's complete bullshit. This woman is an absolute stupid idiot. No. I work for Costco, and I am asking this customer to put on a mask because that is company policy, says the Costco employee in one video. And I'm not doing it because I woke up in a free country, replies. And I'm not doing it because I woke up in a free country, replies the man filming him. A warped freedom obsession is killing us, said the writer Anand Giridharadas, in reference to those coughing in the faces of others in the name of freedom. This bitch is so dumb. Oh, she's such an activist. Oh God! It is, of course, a minority of people willfully misinterpreting what freedom means. Freedom to choose until the choice is one that they do not like. Meanwhile, most Americans don't want to return to business as usual during this pandemic. In Franklin D. Roosevelt's famous 1941 Four Freedoms speech, he detailed that yes, Americans are owed a right to freedom of speech and expression and to worship whom they please. But he also mentioned the freedom from fear. Oh, and they push it like it's crack. They push it like it's crack, and like they're pushing it to Hunter Biden. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, he detailed This was in the context, of the U.S. joining forces with Britain in the Second World War. Roosevelt was telling Americans that this was a fight for freedom, as America finds itself at war with a deadly pandemic. That's a message worth considering. Since you're here, we have a small favor to ask. Millions are... Yeah, they're advertising for The Guardian. What is this? Oh, they're begging money. We believe that everyone deserves access to information that is grounded in science and truth, and analysis rooted in authority and integrity. That's why we made a different choice, to keep our reporting open for all readers. Oh, you mean they're hurting for money? Support The Guardian from as little as $1, and it only takes a minute. Who's begging for money now? How those ratings looking? Yeah, this was a very short article. So we're going to move on to hrw.org. Human Rights Dimensions of COVID-19 Response. March 19th, 2020 at 12:01 a.m. EDT. Doesn't say who authored it. On March 11th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared that an outbreak of the viral disease COVID-19, first identified in December 2019 in Wuhan, China, had reached a level of a global pandemic, citing concerns with the alarming levels of spread and severity. The WHO called for governments to take urgent and aggressive action to stop the spread of the virus. International human rights law guarantees everyone the right to the highest attainable standard of health and obligates governments to take a step to prevent threats to public health and to provide medical care for those who need it. Human rights law also recognizes that in the context of serious public health threats and public emergencies threatening the life of the nation, restrictions on some rights can be justified when they have a legal basis, are strictly necessary based on scientific evidence, and neither arbitrary nor discriminatory in application. God, of limited duration. Oh, limited duration. Bullshit. Respectful of human dignity. Did she just say respectful? Whoever wrote this article, did they just say respectful of human dignity? These people think we're really dumb. Really, really dumb. Okay? These people, these journals just don't get it. They can throw all the backwards adjectives they like to, but it doesn't change anybody's mind. Jesus freaking Christ. Respect of human dignity, subject to review and proportionate to achieve the objective, which is to shut down the economy. The scale and severity of the COVID-19 pandemic clearly rises to the level of a public health threat that could justify restrictions on certain rights, such as those that result from the imposition of quarantine or isolation, limiting freedom of movement. Constitutional violation right here. We. At the same time, careful attention to human rights, such as non-discrimination and human rights principles, such as transparency and respect for human dignity, that one's always going to get me, can foster an effective response amid the turmoil and disruption that inevitably results in times of crisis, and limit the harms that can come from the imposition of overly broad measures that do not meet the above criteria. You mean like wearing diapers on your face? This document provides an overview of human rights concerns posed by the coronavirus outbreak, drawing on examples of government responses to date, and recommends ways government and other actors can respect human rights in their response. End this scam. That's how you can do. Wait, this is a long freaking article. Yeah. I noticed one thing about these COVID-19 articles. They are insanely long. They always have an insanely long read. Oh my God. This is nuts. Anyway, the name of the article is Human Rights Dimensions of COVID-19 Response. It's on hrw.org. I don't want to make this video too long. Safe to say, just another example of how long-winded, over the hill, and just plain scammy this whole COVID-19 thing is. It's literally a scam. What is this? They're talking about Iran here. Broad sanctions imposed by the U.S. on Iran have drastically constrained the ability of the country to finance humanitarian imports, including medicines. This has caused serious hardships for ordinary Iranians. Concerned governments should support Iran's efforts to combat COVID-19. Oh, Lord. Including by providing access to medical devices and testing kits. Let's be perfectly clear here. This Iran is the same nation, right? The very same that was taking all of our money, right? You mean to tell me they don't have any of our money left? All the billions and trillions of dollars, the hundreds of trillions of dollars that Obama shipped over there on plane loads? Plane loads of crisp green bills. Crisp, green, cold, hard American cash. And you, with your lame leftist ass, mean to tell me that Donald Trump punishing Iran for taking trillions of our taxpayer dollars is somehow supposed to move us to compassion? Let's talk. Lebanon. Where is that country? What's that country that Libya? Yeah, the slave trade. All these Democrats messing around in nations they have no business in, and then they want to come and tell. What did they mean? They mentioned Venezuela. They mentioned Thailand. They mentioned Iran, Egypt, and Lebanon. They didn't mention any other countries. Oh wait, Bahrain, Italy. What's this? Yeah, Iran again. Prisoners in Iran have reportedly tested positive for the coronavirus, including in Evin prison in Tehran, and in the cities of Urumia and Rasht In an open letter in February, families of 25 prisoners detained for peaceful activism, God, sought their at least temporary release amid the outbreak and lack of sufficient prison medical care. In March, the Iranian judiciary, which is Sharia, which is Islamic, reportedly temporary release about 85,000 prisoners for the Persian New Year, Nowruz, a substantially greater number than normal for the holiday, apparently because of health concerns surrounding the coronavirus outbreak. However, dozens of human rights defenders and others held on vaguely defined national security crimes remain in prison. So, Iran being a Muslim nation, a hardline Muslim nation, you can bet they have all kinds of defectors from Islam and all kinds of non-Muslims in jail. I would imagine it's kind of like North Korea, in that you dare not say anything about the religion of pieces. Or you go to jail, or you get stoned to death, or these kinds of things. Now, let's talk about the U.S. in this article now. Many people in U.S. jails have not been convicted of a crime, but are locked up simply because they cannot afford to pay the bail set in their case. Older men and women are the fastest growing group in U.S. prisons due to lengthy sentences, and prison officials already have difficulty providing them appropriate medical care. As a response, in one county in the U.S. state of Ohio, the courts apparently expedited review of people in jail, releasing some and transferring others to prisons. The American Civil Liberties Union has filed a lawsuit that seeks to challenge ongoing immigrant detention in the context of the virus. See, the Democrats created this virus. They created it in a lab in Wuhan over the cuckoo nest. And over here in the U.S., they were letting out all the prisoners, right? They were letting all the prisoners out of jail because, hey man, they want to free up the prisons so that they can put Trump supporters in those prisons, right? See, and when they did these things, let's look at China here. In China, press reports suggest an increase in domestic violence under quarantine, right? Because that's what they want. They want domestic violence. They want crisis. They want fear. They want pain. They want isolation, right? That's why they push these numbers like there's no tomorrow, right? So that you can put on your face diaper and feel like a muzzled dog. Because they don't give a fuck about us. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about us. It's true. Tupac had it right. Anyway, this video is already longer than I wanted it to be, so I will see you all tomorrow. See if I sleep tonight. Shout out James Munder. Oh man, I wish I had a friend with a shit ton of money that could buy me all the guns I want and all the shit I want. Fucking set me up in a fucking crib. Give me money for my business. Be like an angel investor so I could freaking get my shop off the ground. Because they don't want us working. They want us locked in our house. C'est tout temps. Et cette farci n'est jamais fini. They don't want it to ever end. But anyway. Shout out James. Shout out Santa Surfing. X22 Report. Dave, Benjamin Fulford. We down the ride, man. For God and country. Where we go one, we go all. And, God, I can't wait to see that Kraken rip into these Dominion scum. Dominion and all you other motherfuckers that play with people's minds and votes. Yes. All of you are going to pay the dearest price.